Well, the first major reprieve in a 7-week conflict as the 4-day truce agreed between Israel and Hamas begins in the Gaza Strip. A footage shows dozens of Israeli military vehicles moving away, pulling out, and away from the enclave. The two sides agreed to silence guns and to stop bombings from 7 a.m. local time. There have been no reports of major attacks since the start of the truce. The World Health Organization is working on evacuations from northern Gaza's hospitals. The agency says it is, quote, extremely concerned for the safety of patients and workers that remain inside the El Shifa hospital. Al Jazeera has reported that the Israeli Defense Force has withdrawn from the medical facility. People in the southern town of Khan Yunis could be seen walking the streets and returning to their homes as they make the most of a brief reprieve in fighting. Hundreds were also heading back north from central Wadi Gaza, despite warnings from the Israeli military not to return.
راجعين على بيوتنا نشوف نتفقد أوضاعنا أحوالنا كيف بيوتنا نجيب أواعي نجيب غيارات نجيب اللي بدنا إياه مش لاقيين غاز مش لاقيين أكل مش لاقيين شرب يعني الوضع مأساوي جدا الواحد يعني يروح يموت أحسن له.
The agreement negotiated by Qatar, Egypt and the US will see the first batch of about 13 hostages released today. That's in exchange for Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. A Palestinian official says Israel will release 39 prisoners today, among them 24 women and 15 male teenagers in the occupied West Bank. The deal stipulates a total of 50 hostages held by Hamas be returned for 150 Palestinian prisoners. Meanwhile, Thailand says its government is ready to receive Thai hostages that may be released by Hamas. A London-based Arabic news website had reported that 23 Thai nationals would be among the first to be freed. But Thailand's foreign ministry has yet to confirm that.
ถ้ามีการปล่อยตัวออกมาเนี่ยไม่ว่าจะเป็นปล่อยตัวมาในส่วนของประเทศอิสราเอลก็ดีหรือปล่อยตัวออกมาผ่านประเทศอื่นอย่างเช่นประเทศอียิปต์ก็ดีเนี่ยเราได้มีการเตรียมพร้อมแล้วมีการวางแผนไว้ครบถ้วนแล้วก็จะมีถ้าสมมุติในกรณีที่มีการปล่อยตัวออกมาจริงเนี่ยเราก็จะมีคนไปรับนะครับที่จุดณที่เขาปล่อยตัวนะครับ
More aid into Gaza is also underway. Trucks are entering the strip from Egypt via the Rafah crossing. Hamas says 200 trucks a day will enter Gaza carrying much-needed supplies. The Palestinian Health Ministry in the enclave reporting more than 15,000 dead since the war began, with countless more displaced. And for more, Sarah Coates joins us live on the ground in Tel Aviv. Sarah, we just heard in the different wires 13 hostages that Hamas will release in return for 39 prisoners today released by Israel. Have we heard anything on that front?
Hello, Wei Su. Well, final preparations have now been finalised for Israel to receive these 13 hostages, women and children, from the Gaza Strip in less now than 2 hours' time. Now, what we do know is that they'll be taken by the Red Cross to the Rafah border crossing, where they'll be received by the Israeli military. They'll then be taken to the Hatzarim air base, which is in the southern part of Israel, where they've all been fitted out with kits. There are things like noise-cancelling headphones, toys for children, and fresh clothes for these people to change into. Now, we do know that there'll be specialist medical teams on standby, while every single person has been provided with a brand new phone with numbers already programmed into these phones so that they can immediately call their loved ones. So, look, it's certainly expected to be very emotional for these people. They'll then be flown via helicopter to one of 6 hospitals in Israel. 5 of those are actually very close by to where I'm standing here in Tel Aviv. They'll be admitted, have a thorough medical check, and then be taken to a more secure ward where their families will be waiting. So, look, it's certainly expected to be very, very emotional for these people. But with the Palestinians also, they'll be being reunited with their families. We do know that a number of these 39 Palestinian prisoners will be freed. They are already on their way to the Israeli military prison, and they will be now processed and then taken to another spot in the West Bank where they'll be driven to where they're from. This is either parts of the West Bank or Jerusalem. So, look, it's certainly expected, as I said, to be a very emotional day for a number of families right around the region.
Sarah, hostage release, of course, emotional issue, weighty emotional issue. But, of course, a very big part of this deal is also the return or the carrying of aid into Gaza, including critically fuel. Now, have those entered, and are, for example, medical facilities now able to get operations up and going again with this fuel entering the enclave?
Well, look, we've just heard from the Palestinian Red Crescent. It just put out a statement saying that it's so far received 2 ambulances, brand new, and 85 trucks full of aid and medical supplies. Now, what we know about this deal is that this aid will be delivered throughout the entire Gaza Strip, not just these southern parts like we've been seeing over these last few weeks, but also to the north. Right now, there are absolutely no hospitals that are functioning in the northern part of the Gaza Strip. And workers, directors from inside these hospitals say they are completely overwhelmed. They say they have run out of all basic supplies. They are basically having to choose who lives and who dies. We know that there are thousands upon thousands of people actually sheltering in these hospitals, with reports that some people are even sleeping in elevators simply to try and keep safe. So, look, it does beg the question as to whether these hospitals will come back to normal with this aid. It doesn't seem like it will. This is according to aid agencies. They're calling it a drop in the ocean. And if you just look at the figures, we do understand that there will be around 200 trucks going into through the crossing into the Strip every day of this ceasefire. But before any of this happened, there were at least 500 trucks going through that crossing on a daily basis. So it still is not enough to sustain the 2.3 million people who live in the Strip.
Well, thanks for that. Sarah Coates reporting to us live there from Tel Aviv.